Hey, Panda Tribe. I wish I could put you in my brain right now. I wish I could put you in my mind, in my heart, in my soul. I wish I could show you all the love, all the lessons, all the amazing things that I've been through. But I just had a huge moment because I realized that I've just come full circle. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop learning, growing, changing, evolving. No. But when I started working with my shaman, like almost 5 years ago, one of my shamans, the one I walked with for 2 years, Laila Lee, she's so powerful. And I'm like starting to get emotional. I mean, there's just no words to describe my gratitude, really. Um, she she gave me so much, and I know she's humble, and she would say that no, I did it and all that, but it's like no, I mean they're just so powerful. She's just so powerful. So anyway, long story short, while we were working together, she was in the process of making oracle cards. And when she told me about them, one of the things that we bonded on was our love of trees. And she said, that's what my oracle cards are. She's like, it's tree medicine. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And she's like, yeah. And she spoke about them for 2 years that I walked with her, quote unquote. When they say walk with, I studied under her. Um, and we just went on so many adventures together. It's interesting because we're both from Chicago, but I met her in Portland. And it's such a cool story because I was working at my friend Tasha's store called Rebels. It's still there. Please go there. Please support her. Follow her on Instagram. She's REBELLE'. Cool shop, awesome shop in Portland, but obviously they're closed right now. But she can't really work, so she's trying to do her best to put stuff up on online and everything. But anyway, I used to work for Tasha, and then now and again, when I wasn't working for her, if she wanted a day off or if I needed extra money or whatever, I would work there. So, long story short, I wasn't actually working there at the time. I was actually kind of like closing up, like working there, because I had been working there that spring and earlier that year. But I met Layla in September, and it was interesting because I met Layla right when I was about to open Tallulah's Treasures in my friend Marcy's store, Schwab. And so it was interesting because when I was at it's interesting that wasn't really working for Tasha at Rebels. I was running my own store, Tallulah's Treasures and Schwab, but I met Layla because I don't know how it went down, but maybe I made the money or whatever. It doesn't matter. Sorry, I'm downloading right now. There's so much happening. If you wait till you see you guys, the energy is so ridiculous right now that it's like I almost feel like I'm vibrating. That's how powerful she is. Um, so anyway, I filled in on a Sunday for her. She was like, "It's only it's only a 4-hour shift from 12 to 4. Can you watch the store?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And so I was watching the store, and it just happened to be a really slow day. And Layla came in to shop. Layla was visiting from Chicago. She was staying with a friend of hers in Portland, right down the street, actually right around the corner, like a few blocks or maybe a block around the corner from Tasha's store. The interesting thing is, that like I said, I wasn't supposed to be there, but it was like it's amazing how one conversation can go from this to that. It's like never underestimate who you're going to meet or the power, or you know what I mean, like never underestimate it, because you have no idea until like something major like happens to you and you're like, what? Like this simple day that I wasn't supposed to be there, I wasn't even really working for Tasha anymore, but it's like the stars aligned that I met Layla that day. And before I knew it, it's like we became friends. And then I kind of like just started like quote unquote like walking with her. I started studying under her, and she knew I didn't have any money. She knew I was struggling. But it was interesting because she was looking for these little witch boots, and I said, "Oh my gosh," I go, "I actually have a pair of my mom's like granny boots, like these witch boots." And I said, "I love them." I go, "But no matter how many times I try to wear them, they hurt my feet." And I said, "And I've been holding on to them because they're my mom's." And so, long story short, she's like, "Well, I'd love to come check them out." So she ended up coming to my store, And my boots didn't work for her, but Tasha had a pair for her that were more her anyway, which was like really crazy, right? And she ended up gifting me with a medicine bag because we had this amazing conversation. We just had such a great time. And that's the medicine bag you guys see me wearing all the time. So I walked, with her for 2 years. And then at the end of our time together, I didn't realize what was happening, but she was, doing the tough love. And I just thought we were going to like carry on and everything was going to be great. And she said, I came back to Chicago to visit family, and it was really cool because she's from there and she was staying there. And even though she lives pretty much nomadically, she's always kind of, not always, but she's around Chicago, area, Michigan, like that, around Lake Michigan a lot, around the Great Lakes. At least she was. I don't know. I haven't like really talked to her in a long time. We've texted and here and that, but we haven't like talked like we used to. So it's an interesting thing for me. It's an emotional relationship for me because she was so much to me. She was my family, she was my friend. Like I know, like we both felt like she was my grandmother in another life, and so there was this really cool attachment that I had to her, but it was becoming draining for her, and I was like, like hanging on to her too much, and I wasn't like, she was pushing the baby bird out of the nest, like I say to you guys, like she knew like it was time. And I remember one of the last things she said to me was, when you're ready, come find me. And I didn't really understand at the time what she meant. And a lot of stuff happened in between there that I don't want to like judge up or go into. But long story short, recently, Ed and I caught up on our bills, and I, said to Spirit, I'm like, I want to do something. I knew I wanted to buy these Oracle cards from her. I knew they weren't going to be cheap because she, her and her friends designed and made them. They're indigenously made. Um, and they were produced in Chicago, which is also very special to me because we shared that bond together. So even like these cards that you're about to see were produced on her, or in our Chi-town, in our hometown, and so that's even really profound to me. But when I said to Spirit, I was like, listen, I'm like, I need to get these cards, is there anybody else I can help, and blah 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 blah. And so I reached out to her and I told her that I wanted to get the cards, and she was, like, okay, cool, I'll get them for you. But also, I have a client that is really amazing and really powerful, but like I realized the last time I worked with them, I'm like, they need Layla. Like I knew it without a doubt. And then I prayed on it and I meditated on it, and then I reached out to Layla and meditated and asked her, if you can, I go, either get a gut reaction or whatever, if not, like meditate on it, whatever she does. I was like, meditate on this or whatever, and let me know if this is right, because I feel like they're meant to walk with you. And when you get to a certain point, when you're as powerful, and to me anyway, is like Layla is, and such a profound shaman, she's been doing this for over 2 decades, almost 3 decades now. That is something that's like really sacred. It's like sacred medicine. She's a sacred energy. I can't even explain to you how much she means to me, honestly. I mean, you can hear it in my voice and everything, and it's interesting because normally I talk to you guys, but this is different. This is just like I'm kind of like in my own world, and I really wanted to honor the cards and honor her by just, giving them the spotlight, because it's not about me today. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's really just about you guys, or it's just about the message that I'm trying to convey. So it was really cool because when Layla said yes, that she would take on this client, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was really excited for this client because I was like, oh my gosh, like their life is going to change forever. I mean, my life changed forever. I am everything I am because of Layla. And she would just say, oh, you just remembered who you are. Because she's the one that gave me Remember Who You Are. And I remember even when she said it to me one time, it hit me so hard. And I go, I'm going to use that. This is when I first started building Lula's Labyrinth and all that, when I was still on Facebook. And this was years ago. And I said, can I use that? And she's like, yeah. And I said, well, I'm going to give you the credit. And she's like, you don't have to give me the credit. She's like, it's fine. But it's like, kind of become my, handle is be who you are. But that's what she said to me at one point. She's like, you need to just be who you are. But in the meantime, it's like, she encouraged me to be who I was, but she also encouraged me to, to get grounded, to stay in my physical body. And she just did so much for me. So I realized that this person, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, they're a white buffalo. They're really rare. They're like one of those healers that comes around once in a lifetime. And I'm like, I'm I can't, like, it's not meant for me. I knew it like right away because I'm not where I need to be their teacher. You know, they need someone like Layla. And I remember being where they are, and I know how much their life is going to change for the better because of Layla. And that's why we promote each other and take care of each other. And we relinquish control, right? Like, I could still take money from this person. I could still work with this person, but I'm like, it's not meant for me. They are meant to work with them. It's a different type of healing. It's a different type of medicine. It's an intense therapy work, and it's something that I could do, absolutely. But this is somebody who I feel will be a friend at some point. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to mix business and pleasure, right? Like, I was just like, no, this is who you need to talk to. This is who you need to be with right now. And so I sat with spirit, and I was like, you know, that feels good to me. So I was like, cool. So I'm going to invest in these cards and pay her back that way. Because I wish I had thousands of dollars to give Layla right now, because I would, and someday I will. But at this point, you know, it's like I only had so much money, and I really wanted to give back to a lot of people who've helped me, like Tasha at Rebels. Like, how many times she's let me pick up shifts, or she's given me really good deals on things because she knew I didn't have the money, or, you know, or to like my friend Jen, who's like this amazing artist. And I'm like, you know, art is not something a lot of people are going to be investing in right now unless they have money, which is great. But I know that's for some people, it's like that could be a frivolous thing. And I was like, you know, I know that my friend Jen and her partner, like, they both, you know, work in restaurants and galleries and things like that on the open base, basically like public spaces, right? So I'm like, who can I help? So it was interesting because I saw Tasha, I saw Jen, I saw Layla, and then I saw other people I helped, and then other people I got the feeling to reach out to them and be like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Oh no, look, this came around," or "Hey, this person gave me money," or "I made money, I sold this," or so it was like I really touched in with it, and it's interesting because there were some cards that I pulled the other day that I thought were supposed to go with another reading, and then I realized because I thought Layla's cards were going to be star of the show, but this is so interesting because this is kind of how I see Layla as this beautiful divine. She's so balanced with divine feminine and masculine, but like she does have this kind of like very auric healing energy that's just natural. Like, she doesn't even need to speak. She could just be in your presence and close her eyes, and you're just like, damn. Like right now I've had the cards in my lap and I feel so relaxed. I feel so calm. And so a time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo, which Virgo is coming up, right? It's in September. Um, or it could be for some of you that you're a Virgo, or you're dealing with a Virgo, and or maybe it's time for you to, you know, I put this knife here too to honor her. This is an old knife. I don't even remember who. Maybe it was her that gave it to us. Somebody gave it to us. I don't remember now. We've been blessed with so many things, Edward and I. But you know, this knife is like, you know, cut through the bullshit. You know, stop stop lying to yourself, because when you lie to yourself, you're really look at, I just heard Layla's voice say, oh, she reminds me of the guy of the goddess. So it's like she like dropped it down. She's so powerful. But so anyway, so getting back, and I'm all over the place because I'm just in so much joy, and there's so much energy and power in here, and they call her little granny spider, and I can feel her energy. Damn. So I go to buy the, so you know, I'm like, cool. So I go to buy the cards, and she's like, you know, I only have Venmo. I'm like, I don't have Venmo. And I'm like, well, you know what? People ask me all the time if I have Venmo. I'm like, maybe it's time for me to get it. So I go on Venmo. I actually didn't enjoy it at all. And so I was like, no, I won't get it. But like, at least now I'm on there. And if I need to pay somebody and that's all they have, at least now I know I can, which is kind of cool. So I go on there to pay her, but it was like, I don't know what it was. The energy on there was just really weird. And then the first thing I saw, it was like I got on there and it downloaded like all this information, like personal information, like contacts. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't want to see that like my sister's paying so and so and my niece is paying so. I'm like, why am I seeing this? This seems like such private information. I'm like, why do people have their like, you know, and I'm not judging it, that's for them, but for me personally, I was just like, it was just bizarre. It was really, really bizarre. However, it's interesting because the last time I worked with Layla was when I was home in Chicago, and I was going through some major shit with my family, and I had a really, really bad meltdown. Really, really bad. And poor Layla, man. Not poor Layla. I mean, but you know, it was intense. I mean, you guys know my energy is really big, and I was still, you know, in my training wheels, like as a shaman. And I don't even like to call myself that, but like if you were to call it that, but to be a teacher, so to speak, it's just another word for teacher. And, Layla and I knew that from day one, like that's what it was gearing up for, was for, she knew that from the beginning. That's why I worked with her shaman for a bit, which, that's what I was trying to tell my, my one client there. At first they were like, oh no, like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, I'm like, this is not a punishment. This is a gift. This is like, holy shit. Like, you're the first person that I've really, really been drawn to send to her. So I found that really profound, um, and it was the same with when I worked with Layla. Like, there was a time where it was, it's when I went home to visit for Chicago and I met with, White Bear, who's another phenomenal healer. And he's the same way. Like, he told me, he's like, he was one of many that told me I was the healer for the healers. And he said, I knew I knew we were going to have this interaction at some point, but he gave me so many pearls and I just learned so much from that. Hold on, take a water break, I heard. Ooh, 1551 when I look down, so we'll have to look up angel number 1551. I haven't done that a lot lately. Anyway, so long story short, again, getting back to it, this is all really cool, so you guys can kind of understand the journey and the process of like what it took for these cards to come here. So the last time I saw Laila was over 2 years ago. It would be 3 years in September. It'll be 3 years in September. I may see her before then. I don't know. But yes, right. So that's how long it's been. That's how long that I had to journey on my own, that I had to fend for myself, that she was like, when you're ready, reach for me. And there were many times that I did reach out to her here and there because I was like, oh, I want to make you something. And then I went through all that. But then there was a time where I realized I was like, nope. I'm like, I sent her something. She sent it back to me. And I'm like, I took that so personally. That was like, I took it so as like, I was hurt, I was devastated, I was like, oh my gosh. And it's such a long thing that again, I don't want to like get into, but it was intense for me and it was really hard. And so after that, I was like, I'm never talking to her again. I was kind of a big baby about it, I was just like, fine. I'm like, then don't take it. I'm like, I don't want you to have it then. I'm like, then I'll just give it to somebody else. And then like slowly that energy started to dissolve. And then I got the, no, sell it and like make money. You could probably make a few $100s off that. Like, no, like she doesn't need it. She doesn't want it. She did that on purpose because she want, all these things were coming through. All these things are coming through. And now over the last 2 years since that happened, I have really like grown into, and I will continue to grow and continue to evolve. Absolutely. But it was last year that one of my soul sisters granted me and gifted me the medicine cards, with the animals on them that I put in our readings. And she had bought those for herself and the book. And she came to me and she said, hey, she's like, do you want these? She's like, I know you don't use cards, like you don't need them or anything. She's like, but I feel like I'm supposed to give them to you. So they're either for you or they're for somebody else. She's like, whatever. And I was like, that's so weird. I'm like, because I'd been thinking I wanted cards. Now here we are a year later. Now I have, I don't know, like 15 decks or something now. I don't even know. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think this is I feel like I'm supposed to count. I don't know why, but let's see. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, 17. Ooh, which is also the number 8, which is about infinity. Ooh, and for our May forecast, we got the number 81. That's so interesting. That's an 8. Oh, get it. I get it. I get it. I looked down and now she wants me to go to this because she's the little granny spider. Wisdom of the Tall Ones by Dancing Spider Woman. That's her Native American name. She's Cherokee. That was one of the things that drew us to each other, is that we're both Cherokee. And look at the back. I love this. She always draws like a little spider web. Little granny spider. And what do spiders have? 8 legs. Oh my gosh. When I looked down, it was 1913. We're going to have to look that up too. I heard look at the book first. Oh, look, you guys. Oh my gosh. I heard look at the book first. In fact, I'm going to honor it. Oh, look at that. Created by Laila Lee, Dancing Spider Woman. Illustrated by Linda Torres. Wisdom of the Tall Ones. Oh my gosh, it's so precious. I feel like it wants to go back. See, look at this. I brought in a lot of tree medicine for this. Wisdom of the Tall Ones. Oh, thank you, Layla. I love them so much. Oh my gosh. Here we go. So I'm putting my hand inside, and I love the earthy green, by the way. I love the green color that the bag is in. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Mel's gonna shit. Mel. Okay, so this is even why I had to tell you that story. Mel has this exact, and I mean exact fucking tattoo on her. I think it's on her arm. I'm almost positive it's on her arm. Isn't that crazy? I remember when I had said that to her before, because I know she was really into that symbol too, but I didn't know that that was. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh gosh. Okay, okay. I actually started to shuffle, and this one flew out. And I mean flew out. The spindle. I don't even know the spindle. So her friend is an artist. And the cool story behind these is that each one is actually a painting. Her friend, I think there are 44 cards in the, no, that's the Native Spirit deck. I don't know how many. It'll probably say in the book. But anyway, long story short, her friend is a fine artist. She's a painter. And so for every card, she actually did an original painting. And then they did a series together. Really cool. And then Layla, did the spirit medicine behind it. So here we go. I love opening books. Look at that, 2018. Oh, which makes sense, right? Granny Spider, the 8. And also, it's the number 11. Printed in Chicago. So the wisdom of the tall ones, introduction, artist note, forward, the trees, and in gratitude. And if any of you are interested in these cards, please reach out to me and I'll give you Layla's information, because you have to, she literally like has them herself and she sends them to you in like a cute little, well, however she does it. I'm sure she sends it in a bag, but I don't know what they all look like. But they are $60. And I believe that includes shipping. If anything, it was $5 to ship, so it would be maximum $65. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing more beautiful, I think, than getting the cards. Ooh, 22 when I look down. Ooh, 22! Oh my gosh, I'm going to put that down there for angel number 22. And most of you know I talk about 22 a lot, but I'm going to put it in there anyway. Oh, this is such a beautiful, beautiful reading. Yeah, I feel like I just need to go. Okay, so I'm going to read the introduction because this is from Layla, so this is really cool. A walk in the woods can change your life, or at least feel real good. It can be soothing, comforting, inspiring, or a little scary. Whatever feelings are conjured up in the woods, we can almost always be sure that the trees have something to say. All we need to do is listen. My journey with the trees began when I was a little girl hanging upside down on a branch. Whenever I was around majestic oaks, maples, and willows, a sense of adventure took hold. I almost felt the trees whispering their stories, letting me know all is well and I am safe. I am dreamed of living in a treehouse or envisioned curling up in a nest. As I continue on my path in life, my feelings of the trees have not wavered. The forest has become a sanctuary for my soul, and I hear its call. Going to a wooded area has been essential for my well-being and invokes a sense of grounding and balance within. Around 10 years ago, the inspiration of reading and using a tree deck came into my consciousness. I submerged myself in a formal study of Celtic and Druid lore of tree symbolism and the 7 woods of the Cherokee, creating a fusion of all my blood lineages and a sprinkling of a few others that needed a voice. It was my decision to create a deck I wanted to work with as a divination tool that was accessible and easy to read. Many of the trees have similar meanings, and I suggest that you interpret the meaning in a way that applies to your life. Ask yourself what holds true for you at the present moment. Each tree has attributes that allow us to begin a personal journey to live in the world with more awareness. However you choose to interpret the cards and their connection to your life, have fun and enjoy the messages they share. Use them as a tool to weave a gentle aspect of spirituality into your everyday. Blessings. Grandmother Layla, Dancing Spider Woman. And can I tell you, she has such beautiful, like, if you ever thought of the most beautiful spider in the world, that's what Layla looks like. I swear to God, she is so beautiful. She's breathtaking to look at, but just her energy is amazing too. And one time she and I were hiking in this ancient forest on around Mount Hood. I forget the name of it. If you know it, put it down below. But we went to this hot springs there, Bigby. I think it's Bigby Hot Springs is the one that we went to, and we had this amazing experience together there. But I ended up having this photo shoot with her that you may have remembered. I shot pictures of her. If you followed me on Facebook, I think that they may even be on my Instagram. I need to find those photos, but they were beautiful. Like the light was hitting her just perfectly, like everything, and her body is mostly tattooed, and her legs were like kind of hanging over the edge of the, it was a log. We were like in this old log, and like you pull the hot water in from the springs. I highly recommend you go there. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it in the bottom. So you may want to look for it down in the bottom, but I think that's what it was called, something like that. But it was such a great moment. And I looked at her through the lens, and the way her legs and her arms are, I'm like, she looked like a spider. It was really cool in the most romantic, beautiful way possible. And for those people who are, afraid of spiders, quote unquote, look up spider spirit animal. They're so beautiful. They're so divine. And to me, I just think that's beautiful. And they have an artist note here too, and they also have a forward, but I feel like I'm meant to go straight to the card. So, um, if we're meant to go back to that, we will. So I'm just going to go straight to the spindle tree. Oh my gosh, it opened almost exactly to it. Oh, the message is weave your own web of creation. The symbol is webs. Ah, right. I mean, come on, come on. The first card out is Granny Spider and her creation, her weaving her own web of creation. I love it. It means, or so here we go. I'm gonna, I want to see if there, let me see, maybe I am supposed to read the forward. Okay, it says, while preparing space for a goddess dedicated drum circle with Hazel, a fellow student of life, I watched as Hazel smiled when friends of hers entered the space. She introduced me to Radha and her equally beautiful and shining daughter Laila. Hugs went around and they felt very familiar. Mother and daughter called in the divine with their music, song, and movement. As ladies drummed and Laila danced, we tapped to the place between time and space. As the years, drum circles, and rituals passed, Laila and I reconnected in an energized sisterhood. We have shared home, hearth, and lodge learnings, and have both held our mother's hands as they crossed over. I've always admired Layla's true dedication to her path, and was happy to lend a hand to help manifest her dream. Oh, my Sagittarius stampede has helped my Gemini sister pull the tree stories to ground and land on paper. Use the cards and be open to their energies. Listen to the messages that may come and those you have to share. Readers, I wish you well on your path and many blessings from the trees. Regina Rowe. So I'm going to show you this, and you can do a screenshot if you like. I'm going to try and go, I feel like I'm meant to do this. So you can do a screenshot, and then that way you can work with the medicine on your own, because there's going to be messages that'll come through. And if this goes to another video and I'm called to keep going, I will. Otherwise, this was all meant to go down this way. So the other thing Spirit wants me to say before this goes forward, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I swear to God, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'm kind of like, what and what? And I understand that maybe people will be like, oh, it's the focus. Oh, and I'm like, no, I'm hearing like the energy that I'm hearing to keep going and to share the story later. So, okay. So right now the message is weave your own web of creation. The symbol is webs. And then it says out of balance, lack of accountability, holding others responsible for your current state. In balance, walking your talk, being responsible for your thoughts, words, and actions. Meditation, create, weave poetry, music, dance, art, cooking into your daily life to help you stay on the path of accountability. Yes, so they're saying like if you feel out of balance, it's because you are not taking accountability in your life. Like you're blaming this, you're blaming that, you're blaming, I know for myself, that's me. And I'm in balance in some ways because I am walking the walk and talking the talk on some ways, but I'm out of balance because I'm not eating the way I should. I'm not working out as much as I would care to right now. And I'm going through my own stuff and I'm not perfect, right? So this is a great thing to remind us, whichever one feels good to you on a daily, hourly basis, especially now with a lot of us on lockdown. I don't know how much longer this is going to go on, but, in the meantime, it's like, stay on the path of accountability. What makes you happy? What makes you flow? What makes you, want to get up and go? Like, what is it? I feel like we're meant to pull another card right now. Oh, I just heard no. Now you can tell the story. So interestingly enough, when I went to pay Layla, so getting back to when I went to pay her on Venmo, so I went to the settings to be like, do I have to look at this stuff? Because I really didn't want to. And it was just like, And I was getting mad. And it's because my family really triggers me. And I haven't really talked to my family in months again. And that's because I realized I read from one of my nieces in January. And as much as I love her and as much as I enjoyed every minute of that, I was like, I'm not there right now. I just, obviously, if they want readings, like my one niece's birthday is coming up in May and I'm going to reach out to her and be like, do you want a reading? Like, I'll do that kind of stuff. But I can't like go too far down the rabbit hole right now because I'm still, excuse me, in my healing space. And so I think it's interesting that like one of the last things that I went through was like this massive, like huge blowout with my family when I was home. And then that was last time I saw Layla. And then like I go on to pay her and I'm trying to pay her. And what do I see? All this stuff from my family, from my aunt, from all these people who've bullied me or triggered me or I love certain parts of this person, but that makes me think of another person that triggers me. It was really weird because it wasn't just my family, it was friends too. So it's just a very bizarro thing for me to deal and handle or deal with and handle. And as I went to pay her, I thought everything went through. I sent a little message. Ooh, 3041 was another angel number. So if I don't put them down, that means that if they're not on the bottom, that means you're meant to go look it up. And I go to pay her and I hit the button and I think it's good, right? And then it says on the bottom, or so I think it's good. And then I just got this weird feeling. I'm like, or did that go? I'm like, wait, I was supposed to hit this other thing first. And I got kind of confused. And so I go to look and it says that it was empty, that there was nothing there. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, I'll go back and I'll do it. And as I was going to pay her, I heard that it was because I'd been doing these readings for the tribe and then I watched this other reading on YouTube, and long story short, a lot of the messages were saying that I needed to seek counsel again, or like that I needed to like touch base with like a mentor or somebody who helps me or whatever if I'm having a tough time. And April kicked the fucking shit out of me, man. And today is April 30th. I don't know when this will post, but today is April 30th, and this literally, like, I'm so glad it's over because wait till you guys, I've already shot the May forecast and it's so amazing and I'm so looking forward to May, but we still have things that we have to work on and things we have to do. Oh my gosh, look at her. I swear to God, I'm not touching that. I feel like that's her way of like telling me to like get back on topic. It's crazy. Her energy is so amazing right now. Also, I'm going to bring in the feather because when we were working together, there were many times where she and I would be walking, especially one time we were walking in Chicago, and she's putting this in front of the knife to be gentle with myself and be gentle with you guys. But while we were walking, there was like, and we're in the city of Chicago, like city, right? We're like walking on the city streets down a major street, and there was all these white feathers in front of us. It was the coolest thing. So I knew that was meant to come in at some point. I just don't understand why. Wow, this is crazy. So anyway, I go to pay Layla again because I didn't think it went through, right? And then all of a sudden it pops up and it says that I paid her twice. And I gave her a little extra, and I said to her, I'm like, here's a little extra for shipping and just, like, thank you or whatever. So I went to pay it again. But when it went through, I kind of like held my breath for a minute, 32.54. I kind of held my breath for a minute because I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't want to ask her to send the money back. But at the same time, I was like, I just had like done a lot of things and I just paid a bunch of bills. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, that puts me down to like $30. I'm like, I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if I should do that, And so I messaged her and I said, hey, I paid you. And I go, I screwed up. And I go, I accidentally paid you twice. I'm like, I'm so sorry to ask this. I go, if I had it, I would tell you just to keep it, but I have to pay this bill, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, can you just like shoot it back to me, through the Venmo or whatever. And she sent me a message and said, yeah, I'll send it back to you in the mail in a check. And I was like, okay. And then I thought, you know what, maybe she's off the grid right now, or maybe she doesn't want to deal with banking or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, I'm sure if I was like, hey, I really need it right now, a bill's not going to clear, that would be the story, but it wasn't. So once it was over, I started thinking about it. And then a little while later, Ed came home and I said, I told him, I bought the cards and stuff. And he's like, oh, I had a really good day. And he's like, I made X amount of dollars. And I said, hey, listen, I'm like, once we pay these bills and blah, 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 I'm like, I go, can I just tell her to keep it, and he was like, yeah, he's like, if you want to. And so I've been like kind of going back and forth with it and going back and forth with it. And then yesterday I was kind of getting a little concerned because I'm like, well, I have a bill due in a few weeks. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then today I got this like solid message that was like, you know what? What have you been preaching to everybody? And I'm like, you know what? We just paid the rent early, which 2 months ago we were almost a month late. So we paid the rent. So the rent is paid. And I'm like, I don't have to concern myself with that bill because it's 2 weeks away. And you know what? She's worth every fucking dime. And I have it. And it's already out of my bank. And I'm like, you know what? It's gone. And so I'm actually really excited to send her a message when, because she said, let me know when you get the cards. And so I'm going to send her a message and tell her to keep it because she walks the old way. She doesn't set prices or anything like that. She's by donation. However, or at least she was. She may have changed. I don't know. But she, she's kind of like old medicine. But, I look at it like I would never give her less than, for me personally, I would never give her less than $100 an hour because she's like so amazing. And she changed my life after one meeting with her, walking with her for 2 years, like changed everything about me. This one just like came out. Look at the palm. Oh, kind of makes me think of Jesus. Right? From the palm leaves. It's so powerful. I love this deck. It is worth its weight in gold to me because, of her. I mean, really. I feel like I heard her go, you don't have to do that. You can just put it right there. Okay. We got it. Oh, the palm. Let's see what the palm has to say. And again, I haven't been paying attention that much. My eyes have been wandered down when I was told to, but other than that, I don't know if this has gone to another video or not. So here's the message for the palm. Oh, that's why, because she wanted me to, so you could take a screenshot and give you better lighting. The palm. The message is purify. Palm cross. Oh, so this is, the symbols are like Christianity, the four directions, Brigid or Bridget, however you want to say it. Out of balance is taking on the energy of others. Yes, empaths, absolutely. I felt that right out the gate. In balance is being responsible for your own energy and filtering what doesn't belong. Oh my gosh, I love it. I feel like in that instance, I feel like the popping of the camera was her energy. I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, you need to get this fucking deck. It's like when I got the Making Magic deck. Oh my gosh. It's like, it's just, there are certain decks that I've gotten that just up the ante. And she personally like touched these and blessed these. And it's a lot different than ordering cards off of Amazon. I mean, I love my cards off of Amazon. Don't get me wrong. We didn't have a lot of money and I don't want to support big conglomerates like that. But at the same time, I'm like, we needed multiple things and to get free shipping, it just made more sense. I just got my hair color and I ordered it like at the end of March. But it was easier and more cost efficient. And I don't always say to take the easy way out, but sometimes we do. But this is different. So when you're ready to invest in yourself and you're ready to, when you're ready to even work with another light worker and you're like, you feel like I've taken you as far as you can go, reach out to me and I will give you Layla's information. And again, if she feels you're ready to work with her, then, she'll take you on. And if she doesn't, it's the 4 agreements. You can't take it personally because I realize now, like, I need a huge serving of, insert feet mouth soup or whatever. Well, I don't know what you'd call it, but just because I feel like I owe Layla a lot of, apologies. I know that I instilled a lot of gratitude, or I gave a lot of gratitude to her when we were together and we were walking together. And I tried to honor her as much as I could when we were together, because we didn't have money. But, and I know she always believed in me and knew that, like, it would come around when it was meant to. But she's worth every penny, I'm telling you. And these cards are worth their weight in gold, just the energy that's coming off of them. So I feel like she wanted us